Rube, if you had to give a pep talk to Daniel Jones last week before his first game, how would that go?
All right, listen, you know you were worth it. You're here for a reason, all right? Don't even think about the doubters. Think about your talent and what got you here, all right? That's all I want you to do. I just want you to know to have the confidence to go out there and do what you do best. Let's go there. We got your back. Let's go. Smack on the butt.
Daniel Jones just fell asleep. He's sleeping right now.
Well, this is like behind closed doors. Before we get out, there's more of a soft-spoken part.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. All right, you know we made it.
You get him a warm glass of milk.
Nuts.
You get him a warm glass of milk before that pep talk.
That's what we do. Then, we get deeper into that, but get that deep talk and confidence.
All right. Yo! What's up, guys? My name is Chris Tutela. Welcome to episode number 45. I believe it's 45 of TTS Talk. Today, I'm alongside my good friend, colleague, and co-host,
Ruben Borges.
Once again, coming back at you. He's got new socks that his abuela brought him.
No, these are legit.
What are
Models.
these things? Are those fake Nike, kids?
No, these are real Nike. Models. Right on the counter right before you go. The ashy knees.
Got it.
Let's go this way.
Now I have to look at your ashy knees this whole episode?
Yep, just look at
that
little mini scab.
Just when you don't think life could get any worse. I have to look at Ruben's scab and ashy knees. Well, Coach, we got an exciting episode.
What do we got today?
What we got is an interview for you. So I have a couple questions for you.
Right.
I want the audience today to get deep inside of this brain of yours. Mm-hmm. I want them to just really get to understand where Rubencito has come from.
All right. I wasn't prepared for this, but let's do this.
I wasn't really prepared for it either, but we're going to see what it takes. We're going to see where it takes us.
That's usually when great things happen.
Yeah, we're going to make the magic happen. So anyway,
let's go.
My first question for you is this. Because how long have you been coaching now?
Say 5.5 years.
Okay, so you've been coaching for 5.5 years. What truly prompted you to want to be a strength coach, trainer, whatever you call yourself? What was the thing that really pushed you into this career?
So when I was working at the school, I was a paraprofessional, also substituting on the side. I got asked to help a baseball team out to coach. So I was coaching baseball there. From there, I'll just fast forward. I ended up coaching baseball for a baseball travel team, then their high school. And then in the high school, I was asked to run the strength and conditioning program for Elizabeth High School and help them out with that. From there, I was in two worlds that I loved. I was coaching baseball and coaching these baseball players in the gym also. At the same time, I was still working in the school, and I was thinking of becoming a teacher as well, going that route. And then as I was working in education, I saw the limits that the teachers have, and I saw, all right, to be a teacher, I just want to teach kids, help people become better, right? I don't really have this love for, let's just say, history, social studies. So what's a better way to coach people? Yeah, crazy, right? I do know my history a little bit. So as I'm just kind of living life and just kind of thinking of what to do next as I'm coaching baseball in the gym, that's when I was like, you know what, man, not a gym teacher, why not coach people in strength training? That'd be awesome. And then that's the same day, and I shit you not, I was at home, and I was thinking, I didn't even call Chris because, I just work with him at the gym there a little bit, kind of shadow him and kind of, at least kind of step my foot and see how it is, see if I really do want to do that and everything. And that same day, you called me. Hey, Cito, what's up? I was like, listen, man, I don't know. I know I asked you this before, and I know you're busy and all, but would you ever want to kind of strength coach or anything? I'm like, that's just so weird. It was almost like
I remember that day.
If I didn't call you, something was gonna happen, So we did.
By the way, just to add a little bit more to the story, I remember that conversation. I was sitting in my 1998 two-door Acura CL before you set it on fire.
Well, no,
which is a story for another day.
It died. That's all it was.
That car would have still been running. Well, actually, let's tell that story, by the way.
I don't even know.
I had a 1998 Acura CL. It was aqua. Kind of whack, but it was cool when I was in high school. That was the first car I had. I had that thing for 10 years. I had it from when I was 17 until I was 27. when I was finally ready to get my first car, I was like, all right, I gotta get rid of this thing. Rube, you want to buy this thing for a couple $100? He was like, yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Car
Well,
had
I knew it was like perfect timing.
perfect timing. Car had 200,000 miles on it. Drove like a champ. Thing was a tank in the snow. It was a beast. How long did you have the car?
A couple months, but it was no champ. I lost dates over that, by the way.
Because you hit something and the car made a weird noise after that.
Like,
He had the car for 6 months. And then the next time I talked to Ruben, I'm like, how's the car doing? He goes, car caught
I junked it.
Car caught on fire.
Oh,
I'm like,
blew up
what do
there,
you
whatever
mean
it
it caught on fire?
It was on his way out.
Hold on, real quick though, just for a reference point. How many cars did you set on fire? Be honest.
Only one other one.
So 2 cars. I've set 0 cars on fire.
And this is gonna sound bad too. It wasn't my car. Nelson, if you're watching, it was my buddy's Nelson. Let me take the car home from down the shore, and I was driving and I literally got on fire. This was not like real. It was like real fire. Like the tire blew. I drove to the shoulder. And I literally ran out the car, and I thought it was like the movies. I was like, oh shit! So I jetted, and I thought it was gonna like fly open. Just so you guys know, that does not happen. It's not real life. But I ran into the world. I was ready to like, oh, this is it. And then I stopped, and then the car kept more and more on fire, and it completely exploded. I forgot what the reason was, but it definitely had nothing to do with it.
Well, you probably drove home with the e-brake on.
Nah. I asked Nelson, hey, what was the problem? Let me know. He goes, oh, dude, no, I'm not sure what it was. It's a British friend. But, so, yeah, that was it. And then that car, I lost a date over there. I remember I picked her up to go to the movies, like, and she lived in a
It didn't make that noise when I sold it to you, by the way.
So. It was in a really nice part of town, too. And then I thought we had a good time. She
didn't think so. That must have been the protein farts that were just embedded into that car.
Yo, it did. When you went in there, it smelled like crisp fart. It really did. It was unbelievable.
I farted in that car for about 10 years. Eating, drinking protein shakes.
That's really true. It smelled like that in your burp. For some reason, he has a distinct smell when he burps. It's weird. It's like, oh, you burp, man.
No, that's gross.
But
thanks for embarrassing me.
For that, though, yeah, we started talking. Then when I came here with him and just kind of seeing him run through sessions, and we just started talking, started picking his brain a little bit. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is a way to really reach out to people, you know, and not limit yourself. There's no limit here. And it's something that I truly love. I love strength training was a big part of my life because it was baseball, my first love. Strength training was there with it. And when baseball was done, there's a time where it kind of gets set. Training was always there. It was always like that. No matter what happened, it was there. It was able to keep me tamed, keep me structured, keep me straight, keep me from completely falling off the wagon. If there were times in my life that, you know, weren't going so solid, I always knew training was there. And I was like, you know what, this is it. Your baseball and training, this is like what I want to be about. And then trainings are just taking over more and more because it just makes more sense. You can just reach out to more people in that way through strength training. So that's how it got started, and the love kept growing more and more. Because then from there on, I just kept doing my research and reading, and kept learning as much as possible, and you know, learning from what you were telling me too, and things you were telling me to look up to that'll help me out, and then I kind of learned more from other things, and that's how it kept going.
Great. So, all right. So now, so we always talk about the positive stuff, but what were some of the struggles over the last 5.5 years here for you, like getting into the industry, learning, going through all this stuff? There's always a learning curve.
Yeah.
There's always shit to learn. Like, what do you think some of the biggest struggles were for you coming in here and then starting a new career in this field?
I think one struggle was like, man, I wish I did this earlier. I think I wish I was a little younger while doing it. I felt like, man, I ain't too late in this game. And almost not shaming myself or anything, but like, man, I'm way behind the game here. I want to get to a point where, as much as I know about baseball, you know, I know about strength training, but I definitely nowhere near know as much as I want to know. Because I want to know as much as I know about the game of baseball that I played for 25 years. And even with that game, I'm still learning in that. That game's always learning, so I want to get the same way there. And I think that was a part of just developing the confidence. And to do that, I knew I had to work. And I was working 3 jobs at a time, coaching baseball, working at the school, and training here when I can, just kind of working every hour that I can to work with. So I guess balancing sleep was rough with that. And balancing, while I was at the school, I kind of was at the school, but I was doing a lot of work for learning what I wanted to do here to become a better strength coach. And so balancing all that out and finding time to learn more was real rough.
Yeah.
But I forced it and I made it happen. I was like, you know what? No, this is like my thing. So if I knew if I was going to risk anything, it was maybe getting written up at the school for maybe not being somewhere where I was supposed to be. But I also knew it was for a good cause, and I knew I didn't want to be there long enough anyway. This was more towards a career I wanted to have.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was.
So did you feel almost like imposter syndrome, like that? Because I know I've gone through that, where I felt like, you know, and even once in a while I still will go through that. And I think everybody who truly cares about being great at something will go through that. And so I don't know, is that kind of what you felt like?
Yeah.
For me, like going through that, sometimes I'll be having a conversation with someone, and in the past I've doubted myself, like, maybe I'm not smart enough, maybe I don't know as much as I think I do, and you start to doubt yourself, right? And these things start to creep in, and I've almost felt like I didn't deserve the platform, or I didn't deserve this, you know, whatever this was. And I would have that battle and that struggle in my head, especially early on, because I got into this when I was 18.
Yeah.
So like, especially being so young in there, like, you know, that was, for me, a lot. I went through those emotions as well. So is that what you meant when you said?
That's 100% true. Like that was, because you want to be the best. Because even if I was playing baseball and I was great, that was actually sometimes my downfall. I was like, yeah, but I'm not as good as that guy. I want to be that guy. And I think sometimes that held me back a little bit and give myself the confidence. So it happened in the beginning a little bit, but this time at least, the experience I had with baseball, I knew, all right, it's a grind. I'm not going to know as much as everyone. That's okay. But I am going to be that much better next week, next month, and I know where I'll be at eventually. And then I would say about 2 years, maybe coaching a lot full time. I was like, wow, I did the whole, all right, look where I am now. Like some people say when you're climbing a mountain, you're climbing Mount Everest, right? And you see how far you got, man. You got a long way to go. But sometimes look down and see how far you've come. And so that's what I was doing. And I was like, wow, I really have like made a jump, and the hunger's never gonna stop. So this is cool. So another year, I'll know that much more. Hunger won't stop, and I'll look to learn more. And that's always good. I'm always moving up and getting better. So that's what helped me. Also talking to you about it and you telling me that, dude, this is how I felt before, like when I would talk to these guys, and you know, don't worry about that much. Like, you know, believe me, you're gonna know enough. You know, have confidence yourself, and learning from the experience in there. And you would tell me to listen to a couple podcasts, which helped out a lot, because I'm listening to these guys who are well renowned, and I loved hearing their story on how they became a coach and the similar problems that, you know, they felt too, and why they looked past that and gave themselves confidence. And that was always a turning point in making a great coach, that them knowing, hey, I don't know everything. And that's okay. If I don't know everything, I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to say, hey, I don't know this, but, you know, I'll look it up for you, or I'll check it up. And that's what a coach is, knowing that, you know, they're always looking to get better, and they don't know everything. And if they don't, they're going to find out.
Yeah, so there's a couple things there. Like, so one, for any coaches listening, look, you're never going to know it all. Like, you got this is, things are constantly changing, constantly evolving. And if you want to be great, if you want to be a great coach, you're going to keep studying, you're going to keep attending workshops, seminars, reading books, listening to podcasts, reading articles, going to YouTube, watching videos. You're never going to stop learning. And that's, you know, unless you just want to be mediocre, and who the fuck is okay with that, right? So if you want to be great, you got to keep learning. This never stops. Yeah. That's something that we talked about too early on too. Like this, it never stops. No. There's always things changing. The other thing is, when you listen to great coaches who've been in the industry, they are still learning themselves, right? So to add to that, but they also started somewhere. And I think the conversation that you and I had years ago now, which is crazy, was that, like, if somebody came in here and they walked in and they wanted you to train them, and they were super out of shape, and they had a lot of body fat, and they smoked cigarettes, and they drank alcohol, but they just want to start.
Yeah.
Like, but they were worried that maybe they don't have what it takes. Mm-hmm. And I said to you, what would you do to that person? What would you do with that person? Mm-hmm. You would just have them start, right? Yeah. Have them start somewhere. And it doesn't matter where you are, how old you are, whatever. You have to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. Yeah. So it's just about putting one foot in front of the other from wherever the fuck you are, whether it's for your career or for health and fitness, whatever it is. You got to start somewhere and then just progress. And then you get some momentum, and then all of a sudden you're losing weight, and you're getting stronger, and you're getting more stable, and you're getting mobility.
It's a habit,
right?
Start, right?
And all that shit starts changing.
I heard of the thing. Every expert was once a beginner. I mean, that's true. No one goes into the field just knowing everything. It's just a matter of having the confidence to go through those, because there's rough patches where you're like, oh man, I wish I was a little ahead of where I want to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I'm a little older now. I mean, I would have. Now I know this. I wish I left out of high school. I would have been like, all right, this is what I want to do. If baseball doesn't work out and I don't play third base for New York Mets, this is my secondary thing. And I wish I knew that then. If I would have talked to my teenage self there, I'm like, this is the route to go. This is the one. I wish I would have known that then, but I didn't. So I learned from that, and I think from that experience, I can communicate with people pretty well. I can, I guess, understand when they're not feeling great. I can pick them up pretty well, because I know how that feels, feeling like down. But yeah, having the confidence with that, I think one thing that really helped too, to any coaches out there, sometimes you want to know everything. So if you want to be great, right, you want to know about all of it. Somewhere along the line of the field that you're at, keep learning, right? And all of a sudden, just this niche comes in, and there's something that you're going to just be attracted to wanting to learn more about, whether it be health, nutrition, maybe exercise variations or anatomy. Something's going to be there, so follow that. It makes it fun, and you start learning. And then from there, start learning everything else that you need to learn with it. I noticed that helped me. And that helped me a lot. I just started doing research on things that I just love learning about, and I kept just looking it up always. And obviously following these great, well-renowned strength coaches out there too.
It's important. Like you got to have a general base of knowledge where you have an understanding. But whatever you're doing, whatever demographic you want to work with, that's where you have to really just start to immerse yourself in information and knowledge and apply it and train. Like you're not going to spend time learning about boot camp because you don't coach boot camp, right? So you're going to learn about traditional strength conditioning and all that. And, so like if we were training athletes here and we had time to teach them a power clean, like it's something that we would spend a lot of time on, right? But we don't do a lot of that stuff. So we're the stuff that we are applying, the people that we're working with, that's the shit that we really spend our time on. And does that mean we're never going to take a course on Olympic lifting? Like, of course we will, because it's just another tool to have in our arsenal. But we're not doing a lot of Olympic lifting here, so we're not going to spend too much time on that. So that's a good point.
You were talking about working with the guys. Other than doing the research, the books, the YouTube videos, the podcast, reading all these tons of articles, the biggest thing I think, the biggest chunk is you got to get in there, get in the trenches. And it was from me taking as many sessions as I can, working with people, is where I learned so much, where you don't even realize how much you're learning. From the fact of dealing with people and how to deal with them, dealing with so many levels. And that was the thing that we had here. We had from extreme advanced level to beginner, and dealing with that and visually seeing the last 5 years, we have the work here to see it. Well, listen, if you're not getting it there, don't worry, you're going to improve. Yeah, you will. You will get stronger. It's just 100%. It's been seen. And so from being here all those years, you just subconsciously just learn so much more. Yeah. It's not just like books. You got to get into action and start coaching people and get involved, start shadowing guys, being interning, working for free, whatever it is, that's how you're going to learn. Right. And that's what it takes. And from doing that, I remember, I knew, but then I know I'm gonna learn, but it was like, wow, I really learned that much from this. Like now that the confidence it gets more and more. And one thing I learned is always keep going. Yeah. If you don't know as much right now, just keep going. And then that was what kept me, learning more, because I knew at one point, and it was a 2-year mark. I always feel like, this is going where I need to go. I was getting more confidence. The knowledge was there, and I loved where I was at.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And so now, who are your biggest influences? Like, whose stuff do you read? Who do you research? Like, who are your top? Let's just say your top like 3 guys.
Chris, you obviously. From the beginning, just that's how my strength training started. Me training Arnold books, chest day, back day, whatever. We would be hammered at a party, whatever. And we talk about training one day. And I was asked, where'd you get your training from, whatever, and this is before it was your Triple H book. But then after the Triple H book, you would tell me like what you learned from your cousin. I was just fascinated by that. I remember I was always like, man, his cousin's no fucking joke. Your cousin trained this guy. Shout out to John Alvino, he's one. And, and I always be like, oh, Chris, tell me boom, tell me what you've been learning with your cousin. Let's kind of continue with that. And from there, that hunger was there. And I was just always fun to learn that. That's why I'd always go back to you no matter what. If I had a question, I'm like, all right, let me just see if kind of Chris approves this or if he kind of gets where I'm going at with this. Then when we started working together, I was like, all right, well, this guy, he's gotten all this experience now. Let's go. Keep telling me how that works. And you were. I know you were telling me T-Nation I starting with. And then from there, just advanced when I was reading articles, stuff that kind of took me to it. So Jay Ferrugia was one, obviously, someone who told me to kind of read up on. He's helped a lot. And Dr. John Russin was a big one. And then from there followed Brett Contreras, very smart man, just with the anatomy and just the inventor of the hip thrust. So those three guys and your cousin John Alvino are guys I kind of just always either look at their IG pages, read their info, things that they talk about, their stories, or their articles. Is something that's really helped a lot.
Right.
Obviously I get the real life stuff with you. So, we're always communicating. That's always helping out a lot. Every day we're always talking strength training. So I'm lucky in that sense. I might have started out late, but I'm learning from four of the best in the game, and I'm learning at a pretty rapid pace, I guess you could say, because, these are some of the best here, and it's just awesome to get that. So that's the advantage I guess I get from starting a little later.
You didn't start all that late though. Like you say that, and we talked about it. I'm like, you started 5 years ago. You were what, 28?
I guess, so? Yeah, not that late. I guess I thought of my men's kids start 18.
But I was young, and that was the weird thing. Like,
I remember we were part of your experiments, almost died. But I guess I always I get frustrated because I'm like, damn, I had it all to have baseball. Why can't I just think of this? We don't know, whatever. I thought I could be a copper or fireman, I think, if baseball doesn't work out. I just wish I started then because I'm like, you start thinking what could I have done with 5 years, but stop that. Don't think about that.
But I think you have to go through that to really see what it is that you do want, right? Like you did the truck driving thing, you realized that wasn't for you. Like for me, I did the fire department thing, and that I realized it wasn't for me. So we had to go through that. I just so happened to be training through all of that, But for sure, man, I think that those mistakes that we make or the experiences that we go through, those are the biggest teachers. Because would you be here right now, making an impact, coaching all these people, and doing what you're doing right now, and being a part of this, if you didn't work for your truck driving gig and go through all the shit that you went through to get here? So
I think that gives us things that we don't even realize. I think we can communicate with just all different levels of people about every different thing. I think it has a lot to do with how we grew up and what we experienced growing up. And one thing I learned, I can never think someone's down and out no matter what, because as low as I could have been. And someone thinks they're down, I'm like, no, there's a way out. You can get up. You're not. There's no lost cause. I don't believe in that. I believe, we just make sometimes bad decisions, but you're not a lost cause. You can get out of it. And there's always a way to get up and, turn the next page, new chapter in your life, and kind of move on. And I think that's one thing I learned from the process that I went through. That I always give people a chance.
Well, talk about that a little bit. Talk about the process that you did go through.
So, like a rough patch. So when I was working as a truck driver, because I thought after baseball was over, whatever, I'll make money and go to the shore and that's it. So I started doing that. Money was good, but I realized, all right, this is not it. I'll kind of speed through this. I got laid off because there was a scenario. I got a DUI. I was out, so I got a DUI. Wasn't, shouldn't have been doing it. I was driving out, got stopped for brake lights. He gave the breathalyzer, whatever. Long story short, 7 months suspension. What does that mean? My license is suspended. I now got laid off as a truck driver. I got denied unemployment. So not only did I lose the $50,000 a year that I was making there, but I'm getting nothing. So it was just flat out, flatlined financially, done. And that was rough. You talk about lows of low. I was sleeping and, waking up. And one thing I was always there, I was always training. I couldn't even get to it. I would call people, hey, you going to the gym? Can I hitch a ride with you? I would run to the park and do pull-ups, push-ups as much as I can, because I needed at least 3 days a week to train, and that was what was keeping me going. But it was rough. I was days I was sleeping. I didn't care to wake up. I was waking up, but to what? I was like, oh my goodness, this is I didn't know what else I wanted. That was a scary time. I was lost. I remember I called my dad, and my dad wasn't the greatest guy to talk about it. We talked about it in the shows, but I called him, and he came over, and I remember I had a mental breakdown, just started crying. Because I was lost. I was I didn't know what to do. I don't think my dad gave me the greatest speech, but he listened, so at least he was there. He was like, no, you'll be all right, whatever. So then afterwards, when I got into it, I remember, I think I was dating some girl, and I realized, all right, so I was trying to impress her. It's like, I gotta get back on my feet again a little bit. So I got into the school district. I'm like, I'll start subbing. And then from there, things started funneling. They're like, hey, they offered me a job as a paraprofessional. Then from there, I got a coaching job as a baseball player. Then things started happening. But from that flat line, I knew to myself, all right, every opportunity I get, I'm going to work. And I'm going to find an opportunity to keep getting better. I'm taking every opportunity out there, and I did. That led me to becoming a baseball coach, to taking a strength conditioning job, and to then finally realizing, holy shit, this is what I want to do. I loved coaching these kids. It was just so much fun coaching older kids, and then working the strength training program, then coming here with Chris. I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do to help people smile and be happy, be their best self. Just like maybe I would have wanted maybe in my early 20s, someone to kind of really be on me like that. And it came to that. I kind of explained it really quickly there. But yeah, I went from a flat line to realizing I was down and out, and then just keep waking up, keep moving forward. That's one of the things I always go. And if you are going to fall forward. You know, it's going to happen. No one's perfect. You're always going to make mistakes. Get up, keep moving forward. Because as rough as those days get, there is a bright day coming. Just know that. As low as it gets, you know, just know. Pretend your future self is talking to you. Oh, there's this awesome day ahead. It's coming. And it's basically all I can like say with that, because that was what I was telling myself. I'm like, no, there's something great coming. Even on the really worst days, I'm like, this is meant for something. There were some days I was like, come on, hurry up, because it's taking a long time. But something big was coming, and it did.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, now let me ask you this, though, just to switch gears for a second, since we have to wrap up soon. All right, so who have been your biggest influences?
Growing up, I would say I just remember watching Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior on TV as a kid. And I think Ultimate Warrior was doing one of his interviews, and he had the veins popping out, going nuts. I was like, whoa, that is extraordinary to like look at it. And like I was like, dude, that's awesome. It's like it was a sign of power and strength of a man, which was really cool. And then from there, Rocky movies, all the Rocky movies, obviously Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, all his movies and what he did. Then it went to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, these guys, larger-than-life characters, what really got me into it. And then as being a big baseball fan, the late 90s, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, all these gigantic athletes obviously were pinned for whatever, but that was when baseball started introducing more strength training into it, and you know, it was just the best of both worlds. I love baseball training. You can get this aesthetic look, powerful look, and you know, hit home runs. That's how it all started, and from there it just kept continuing. And you know, guys now, when you look at it, I mean, I know it's easy, but like Dwayne Johnson, just, you know, looking at his work ethic, the guy gets, you know, from wrestling, I really look into his, because he's a football player, you want to make the NFL, it didn't work. Very similar to how like I wanted to play baseball, play the major leagues, but life pointed a different direction. And for him, and he said, you know what, I'm going to do wrestling, I'm going to be the best at it. He did it, and he conquered it. From there, he was into, you know, being a movie star. I'm going to be the best at it, and he did. And like something like that, I take, because whatever you put your mind to, just know you're going to do it, and just be great at it. Know you're going to be great at it, you know. Study the greats and become greater, you know.
Yeah, when he talks about too is having that anchor too, and training has always been his anchor, which is always, you know, it's totally relate to that. So that's awesome, man.
It's that structure gets you going there, you know. It's awesome.
Well, Coach, it was great to have the TTS Talk Nation get inside of that crazy brain.
Yeah, we can go deeper in other future episodes, you know.
Yeah,
cut it short there a little.
For sure, man.
There's a gap there. It's really nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe not talk about that. But.
Yeah, we might have to dive a little bit deeper into that next episode. But guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, Ruben's story has resonated with you, and this will help you get to the next level in some way, shape, or form of your health, of your fitness, of your life in general. So, Coach, thanks for sharing that story.
Absolutely, man.
Guys, if you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and share this with one of your friends who you think that this can help. If you have any questions for me, shoot me a DM on Instagram at Chris_Tutela, Tutela. Coach, where can these guys find you?
Guys, I was like communicating, so just send me a DM at _Ruben, RUBEN _Borges, BORGES. Again, remember, move forward. You know, you guys can all be great. Everyone can be great.
He's a hell of a communicator, this guy.
That's right.
And he's a master debater.
Well done. You've been saving that one, I feel like, for months.
We'll catch you next week.
At TTS Talk.